Hello everybody, this is Tim again, here with the next Children of the Corn review. This time I tackle part 2. Once again, I'm not doing these films in order, and for anybody who's just tuning in to my reviews, I'd give every film like a rating from 1 to 4 stars. I gave Children of the Corn 3 stars. I thought it was kind of just a slasher film trying to have fun with over the top death scenes and shit. Um, but as for Children of the Corn 2, it's my first time watching it in a while. I'll just go ahead and give this film its rating. I'd give this 2 stars. For me, this is an okay, clearly B movie slasher. I'll give it a plus point. It picks up directly after the ending of the first film, which is cool in my book. One thing that's incredibly stupid is that they got all these kids, uh, and they're the kids like from the corn cult from the first movie, and instead of like sending them to a psychiatric clinic or a mental institution for overview, they just like give them a sucker and ship them to the next town to be put into foster care. I'm like, way to go, government system, good job there, buddies. That's so stupid. It's beyond human comprehension. Um, People in the next town deserve to die just for that. Pretty much, you got this reporter character in the movie. Um, he's all right. He's got a son. The acting in the movie is fine for the most part. You got Christy Brinkley, I believe is her name in this film, who is so hot it hurts when you see her. Amazing rack, unbelievable. She's great. Everything else, you got a replacement preacher boy in this film named Micah, who's like this gothic looking dude that wears like all black. He's like such an obvious villain. He's got it written on his face like villain. The moment you see him, you're like bad guy. And his preaching is nowhere near as good as the guy that played Isaac in the first movie. He's also nowhere near as intimidating as the dude that played Isaac in the first movie. He screams way too much. He's played by Ryan Ballman. He's okay in the movie. He just yells way too much. Like there's a scene where he just gets knocked down and he screams out, "Kill the Outlanders!" Like really over the top. It's hilariously stupid. He just yells way too much, and he just has like that shitty. He just does like a shitty grin through the whole movie, where he tries to make himself seem really evil by doing these weird, crazy like facial looks. Like these over the top evil facial looks when he's like messing around with this fucking remote control for this RC car, but he's also like controlling this old lady's wheelchair, which is a pretty cool idea for a dad. But she gets hit by a semi truck and goes flying through a window, and it's clearly a dummy, and it looks absolutely stupid. Another problem with this movie is it's very inconsistent in its tone. One point in the movie, they'll have a cool death scene where everything's played absolutely serious, where a fucking house drops on an old lady, but while she's dying, she's like screaming, what a world," like a Wizard of Oz parody, and it doesn't fit the tone of the film at all whatsoever. It's fucking stupid. And then there's this other, and then when the dummy in the wheelchair gets thrown through the window, this dude stands up in a parlor and goes, "Bingo." It's so out of place, it doesn't fit the tone or the mood of the movie whatsoever. I don't know what the fuck happened there or why the forced comedy in this film is there. I will hand it to it though, I do enjoy the death scenes in this film. I love the voodoo doll death scene where Micah's like driving the knife into like the little doll's nose. The dude's like spitting out blood everywhere out his nose. That was fucking awesome. Um, Even the wheelchair death scene is creative, except for how stupid the dummy looks when it goes to the window. And even the house one is fine, except for the stupid forced comedy. I also love the doctor one where all the kids grab the needles and like stab the shit out of him. That was awesome. Another good death scene. Um, Another thing I thought was interesting in this one is that the Micah kid, the leader in this one, he's not actually evil. He's just possessed by the demon, which is an interesting take. That was a cool idea. Um, and another thing is the script is very muddled. They can't really decide on what they want here. They offer like multiple explanations for he who walks behind the rose and what the fuck he is or isn't, and they never go anywhere with them at all. They offer up one explanation where he could be just hallucinations from poison corn or whatever, like some afrotoxin or whatever from poison corn that's traveling through the air that might just be making people hallucinate, and that the creature is just bullshit. He doesn't even exist. Uh, That would have been an interesting way to go. Cool little neat psychological way to go. I would have actually been okay with that. But because we have a million other movies in this series, or at least it's kind of felt that way to me. Plus this one, and also just the rest of this movie, they totally dropped that. There's shit that happens in here that no toxin could have done. So at the same time, they just bring it up and then they drop it. It goes nowhere. Next thing you got is where this Indian dude, who's actually pretty cool. He's a character named Red Bear, and he actually has some funny lines in the movie where he sees some pictures that the kids drew or whatever of the like dead adults and everything, and he says these kids watch too many horror flicks. He was actually cool. I like that character. Um, but um, but he actually brings up something where he's like, my ancestors believed in a god of the earth, a spirit of the earth who wants vengeance for the wrongs done to the earth. So he's like, working through the children or whatever. Now, it's obviously not God because this is obviously a demonic entity. So is the spirit of the earth Satan? I mean, I don't get this here. That don't make any logical sense. Um, but anyway, so, and then at the end of it, when Micah gets killed by like a corn harvester or whatever, he's getting sucked into it. He who walks behind the rose makes his face transform into like this demon-looking thing. It's obviously Satan. Just say it's Satan. End all the shit and just say it's obviously Satan in the story. And he who walks behind the rose leaves his body because it doesn't want to die too when he gets sucked into the tractor or a corn harvester or whatever. Because it's a demon or whatever, or Satan who doesn't want to go with him. So it leaves his body, and Micah gets killed. So basically, an innocent kid gets killed, which I thought was pretty funny. Another thing is the reporter's son in the movie, Danny, I believe is his name. He's like this really clean cut looking soccer player looking kid from a Disney film. You're supposed to believe that he's going to fall into this cult or whatever and join them when there's no reason whatsoever he should at all. And at the end of it, you're actually supposed to think for a second he might join them, but then of course, he doesn't. So it makes no sense. You don't believe for a second that this dude's gonna ever join these kids at all. Uh, One thing I thought was cool is this like the second in command in this movie who has a really stupid name, Mordecai, which is almost exactly the same as Malachi from the first movie. Like throws this corn spear at the reporter guy, and he like fucking catches it. He goes Rambo on the kid's ass, and he grabs it like fucking swings it back and stakes the dude right to the chest. I thought that was awesome. He fucked his shit up. That was cool. But yeah, other than that, I kind of thought the reporter guy was a little bit assholish too. Like his relationship with his son, although more realistic than what you might see in a lot of movies, the way he goes about stuff, like what it is basically is the reporter dude looks at his son is basically goes, listen, I was 16, I got your mother pregnant, I made a mistake, okay, and tough shit. That's basically what he says to the boy, and I'm like, well, go to hell, dude. I wouldn't want to hang out with you either if I was your son. I mean, there's ways you can break shit like that to somebody without coming off as a dick. And this dude clearly hasn't mastered that. But either way, another thing at the end of the movie is like the Indian dude Red Bear tells the reporter guy in like one random scene that these paintings on this rock are about somebody who finds truth within himself that will part the corn or whatever in some magic way or something like that. And then at the end of the movie, after the Indian dude's dead, his ghost actually shows up and writes on the cave and shows that somebody, obviously the reporter, has found truth within himself and he's purified the corn because of that. It doesn't make a lot of sense, and you don't really see any character transition really for the reporter to make it seem like he's found any kind of inner truth or anything like that. It doesn't happen whatsoever. The reason that doesn't make any sense is because the original ending to this movie was they go to a payphone and the reporter dude gets ready to call his boss, and he who walks behind the rose shows up underneath him in the ground and eats him and basically kills him. And that was the original end of the movie. The reporter guy dies, he gets killed by the demon. That would have made a lot more sense. But it would have also have seemed kind of random, like just a cut off like that. That would have maybe if they stretched out a little bit further and showed like what happened to the rest of the group. I don't know, his son and his son's girlfriend or whatever, Christy Brinkley or whatever. I don't know. Maybe they'd done something like that. But I can see that could have been a little bit too abrupt if it just ended like that. But with the ending having been changed to what it is now, with the whole like find truth within yourself or whatever and part of the corn, it really comes off stupid. So still, all in all, it's an okay. What ends up being pretty much a B movie. The problem with the movie is it doesn't try to be a B movie. It tries to get you taken seriously for the most part, which makes it inconsistent for when it gets really stupid with the comedy. All in all, it's a B, pretty much a B movie. It's an okay movie. I can think of way worse ways to kill 2 hours. It's an okay time waster, basically, is what this film ends up being. So I'll see you guys again with the next Children of the Corn.